Hello there, my name is Louis Wieland, and I publish the official relocation guides on Atlanta that are distributed by the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. There are 5 publications, one for different parts of town. The one has the North Fulton Chamber name on the front with FMLS. One has the Gwinnett Chamber name on the front cover. One is with the Cobb Association of Realtors. They're all distributed by realtors to home buyers and businesses moving here, and they are designed to help newcomers and businesses moving here. The website is atlantacommunityprofiles.com. And if you are one of the 55,000 agents that are members of FMLS, you can jump on the FMLS website and see my magazines there. I'm also a realtor with KW Commercial, and my focus is multifamily and investment property. The real estate market is hot. I'm sure nobody's surprised to hear that. So far through September, the sales are up 4% and prices are up about 23% for detached homes. And as we'll learn from our guest today, there's a lot of interesting dynamics going on within the market. And my website for my real estate hat is louwieland.com. So atlantacommunityprofiles.com for information about the area, and louwieland.com for information on my business as a real estate agent. So every week or so we interview community leaders, and it's a great honor to welcome to our show for the first time David Chatham. David, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Lou. It's a pleasure to be here.
Nice to have you. David is one of the country's real estate leaders and has received numerous awards and commendations. He serves on and has served on many of the city's most prestigious boards of directors, including the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce, the National Association of Home Builders, CoreLogic, the Atlanta Board of Realtors, and was named Builder of the Year last year by Southern Living Magazine, and was named the Georgia Family Business of the Year by Cox Family Enterprises Center. He is past president of the Greater Atlanta Home Builders Association. Chatham Built Homes is his baby, I guess, and is proud to receive the most prestigious award for Custom Home Builder of the Year in Southern Living Magazine. He states on his website, of all the awards we've been honored to receive throughout our 70-plus years of home building for families in our communities, this is the one I'm most proud to hang on my walls. My dad would have turned 100 this year, and I would have been so proud to see his company and family accomplishments. He's president of Chatham Holdings, and if you're watching on the website, you can on this program you can see. David cannot see this, but you will see his website there and his picture of his family. His company has built over 5,500 new homes and over 150 neighborhoods, and has developed numerous shopping centers and office buildings and warehouses. He is co-owner of KW North Atlanta, Keller Williams Chattahoochee, Keller Williams Consultants in Roswell. He's partner in Keller Williams, a franchise in Keller Williams, Alabama, Colorado, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and a owner-partner of Executive Asset Management Company. He currently serves as a trustee of Kings Ridge Christian Church and is a deacon of Alpharetta Baptist Church. He graduated from Georgia, and we're not going to be talking about football today because we have too much to talk about. But he's also completed Wharton's Management Family Held Corporations program, which is one of the most prestigious in the country. He's married to Rhonda, and they have 3 sons and 9 grandchildren. So welcome to the show, David. We're going to learn a little bit about you. We only have about 30 minutes. We have a lot to talk about. I interviewed the president of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce a while back, and he's, was started with Georgia Gwinnett College. He's a general had Bronze Stars and all bronze. I think the Purple Heart and a couple of Bronze Stars. And and I asked him when he was president, what drives you? Why do you get up in the morning? You've accomplished so much in your life. What else is there to accomplish? And his answer was, because I like to help people. So let me ask you, David, why do you get up in the morning? You've accomplished so much. What other worlds are there for you to accomplish?
Well, one thing you just talked about, I have 9 grandchildren, 2 more on the way, 11. So that gets me up every day and keeps me going. But really, my business, probably one of the most fulfilling things that we do is really develop neighborhoods, build homes, meet new people, new friends, create dreams and opportunities that they have in their lives. And we actually have had multiple generations of families who live in our neighborhoods, and I've watched them grow up, get married, start families, sell them new homes. It's just a very fulfilling business. And my dad started that business, as you mentioned, back in 1998, and we're celebrating our 73rd year. And now I have 3 sons in the business. All 3 of my boys are involved, and we hope to continue that. We love what we do. I get up every morning very excited to be able to do new deals, develop new neighborhoods, help people find new homes, put smiles on their faces, and watch them make memories in neighborhoods. I drive through a lot of our old neighborhoods and watch and meet people that have lived there for many, many years. And it's just incredibly fulfilling to see families grow and have fun and make memories in our homes.
Common denominator of very successful people, which is to help other people. And I can see that you get a great deal of satisfaction out of that. How do you see how would you define leadership? And you've obviously demonstrated extremely good, successful, honorable leadership. What is your secret to that?
There's 3 or 4 things. People ask me this occasionally. These are a few things I think about. One is do what you enjoy. Do what you love, what you enjoy, what you have fun doing. Find that spot and find a place to really enjoy and earn a living doing. Obviously, our company is in all types of real estate. We love that. But you also have to have balance in your life. In my earlier years, I worked all the time, like many of us, trying to get our business going and get our neighborhoods and developments underway, and probably missed a lot of great opportunities with my family. So I encourage people, once they find the thing that they enjoy the most, build that business, but always remember to live a balanced life, to have your faith, your family, your work, your hobbies, and leave margin in there to be able to enjoy the various things. I think you have to be willing to take risk. If you enjoy and you want to launch out on something new or something you enjoy, you got to be able to take risk. If you believe in an opportunity, if you believe in a project in our case, or a new development, you've got to be willing to take risk in the things that you really believe in. Understand that recessions will come and go, especially in our business, and you got to be prepared for that. You need to have a little bit of cash put away, and don't outrun your capital. It's easy to get things going in a good market and think it never ends, but it will end. There will be another recession. There will be another good times. So as somebody who's lived through some tough times, never give up, hang in there, but be prepared. And there'll be another opportunity later, but you got to be prepared and not just not throw caution to the wind. I think something else that comes to me, sometimes we get jealous of other people's success, and I've learned you should never be jealous of others. I mean, encourage people, be thankful that they've done well. And it's amazing how that comes back to you. I know in our business it's very competitive, and many times people get jealous of others' success. And I try to teach my boys, be encouraging to people who have been successful. You want to hang around people that have done well. That'll rub off on you and vice versa. So enjoy their success while hopefully you're enjoying your own.
So, David, you've been in the home building business and extremely successful, one of the premier home builders in the United States, certainly in this area. Wasn't that enough? Why did you get into the real estate area? Anyway, you had to put on that other hat. What was the driving impetus behind that, and how's that worked out for you?
It's a great question. My dad, who started building, as I mentioned, 73 years ago, one house at a time. He would start a house, sell it. He would then ask the purchasers if he could rent the basement while he bought the lot next door and started another house, and on that went. In 1955, he found himself with about 25 houses unsold, and the market was not great at that point in time. He had been using another realtor that is no longer in business today, but decided he needed to take the bull by the horns and started his own real estate company, really out of just the need to sell his own homes. And he started a company in 1955-56 called Northside Realty Associates with about 6 ladies. And as you know the story, possibly if you've lived in Atlanta for a while, he hired a young guy who he could tell was going to be a great manager named Ed Isakson in 1957-58 period. And Northside Realty exploded in the Atlanta market, and in a matter of months, actually, Dad had sold all of his inventory. And so the real estate brokerage business is in my blood because I grew up in the Northside Realty family. And as you know, later after, I think Johnny graduated from the University of Georgia in 1968, he became our president of Northside in, I believe it was 1978. And I grew up in that business and just have always realized it's important to, in our case, have some control over the marketing side, and I just enjoy it. And I've been able to hire really great people to run and manage and operate that business while we were continuing to develop and build in primarily this metropolitan Atlanta area.
Senator Johnny Isakson, in case you're wondering, that's the person who has a huge impact on the success of Northside Realty and has contributed a great deal to our country. And I guess is he ill now, or what is this, Johnny?
He's had some health issues, yes.
He has some health issues.
And as you know, resigned as our U.S. Senator. But yeah, Johnny and Ed Isakson deserve the credit really for the success of Northside. But I learned a lot from them, learned a lot working in that business really in high school and college in the summertime, and really taught me how to, and once we sold that company later, after my non-compete had run out, that's when I got involved with buying the North Atlanta franchise for Keller Williams from Gary Keller, actually back in 1999. And since that time have opened, as you mentioned, the Chattahoochee North office, which is over in the Peachtree Corners, Johns Creek area, the Roswell office, and as well as our Alpharetta, North Atlanta office.
And those offices have been enormously successful and among the most productive of all Keller Williams agencies in the United States, actually. And that's obviously requires good leadership to lead a company to that degree of success. What kind of advice there are actually, I think, 56,000 agents who are members of FMLS and have access to the FMLS website. I don't know how many agents you have in your operation, but I know it's got to be at least 1,000. Was it 2,000 or what is it, 1,000?
No, I think today it's around 1,150 agents. But back to your point, I I have had some terrific management of those offices, and I'm just really strictly more of an owner investor in these Keller Williams offices. Harry Hammond and I started out together as partners, and we opened the Alpharetta, North Atlanta office on Windward Parkway back in 2000, and then later the other two offices. And currently, Andy Peters, who is our owner operator, he's my co-owner along with some other owners in those offices, and Aubrey Bailey, who we've just promoted as general manager of those three offices. And we have great team leaders in every office. So I give them, again, full credit. You know, you surround yourself with great people, you give them the opportunity, you give them the tools they need. And if they're what you think they are, they will grow your businesses. And I'm thankful to be in business with those gentlemen, and they're doing a terrific job. And you got to remember this market is unusually strong, and we're in a very good part of this market in the North Atlanta section. So we really had opportunity because of a great market to grow these market centers.
Well, tell us, the real estate market is anything but normal. And maybe there is no such thing as normal in the real estate market, but whatever, if there is, it's definitely not now. What is going on? Can you give us a kind of a macro kind of paradigm on the real estate market from somebody who's been in the business for so many years and has great wisdom about the market itself?
Yeah, this is a tough market for me to describe. As someone who has lived through great markets and tough recessions, really depressions, this most recent recession felt like a depression to those of us in the real estate business. There's nothing I can compare this particular market to. In the simplest of terms, it's where high demand has met low inventory and low interest rates. And those three things very seldom come together. I mean, it's like the perfect storm is occurring right now. The median price in Atlanta now of new homes is just under $400,000, which, as you mentioned earlier, I mean, prices are up about 25% just year over year. You know, we have record low interest rates. I'll tell you a quick story. I was president of the Home Builders Association back in the 80s. And I remember doing a telecast with one of the networks in Atlanta that we would never see single-digit interest rates again. And that was a period when rates were at 15, 16, 18% mortgage rates. And I can recall we were having to buy the rate down to be able to sell our houses and just get rid of those houses. And I never in my wildest dreams thought we would ever see single-digit interest rates, let alone 2 and 3%. I mean, that's just, I've never seen this. And I've been doing this almost 50 years myself. You know, the inventory is extremely low. I mean, we're still in that 1.5 to 2.5 month supply. And the normal inventory levels for Atlanta run anywhere from a low of 4 months to up to around 6 to 7 months. So to see inventory levels this low is, again, something I haven't seen in my lifetime. You know, there's just more and more people moving into this market. We live in an area where a lot of growth, where you have technology, where you have distribution, those types of situations, cities like that are growing. If you look across the United States, in Atlanta, and especially North Atlanta where we work, is right in the middle of that opportunity. You take the low inventory that we have, and then you add to it the supply chain issues that we're all reading and hearing about, low interest rates, the labor shortage that we're seeing. We lost so many people during the COVID period, and many of those same workers have still not come back to work. Truck drivers are very scarce, and getting things from the ports onto job sites is taking much longer. Lead times for a lot of our materials, you take appliances, you take windows, you take plumbing fixtures, and many other things. Our lead times now are at least 3 months, in many cases up to a year. And so planning on new homes is becoming more and more difficult. And it just has added to the problems of supply. And the pent-up demand that's there is I think we're going to actually see another great bubble opportunity next spring as supply to come back, and as people who are waiting on the sidelines to put their house on the market and take advantage of new homes who've kind of held back because they realize prices are going up, they realize materials have been going up, and are waiting for those things to calm down and to level out back a little more to normal. I think you're going to see a great spring in this market as well.
What kind of advice would you give to those homeowners who are waiting on the sidelines? And the biggest complaint that I hear is, well, I'm not too sure I want to sell my house because I'm not too sure I can find another house. And so what kind of advice would you have for families in that dilemma?
Well, I think people more and more realize that inflation, which has caused a lot of the price increases, is supply and demand, and now inflation is more permanent than we originally thought. However, you are beginning to see materials and supply pricing come back a little bit. And as things normalize, which I think will happen over the next quarter to 2 quarters, things will get back to a little more normal. Time of year that seasonally for us is not, business is not quite as good during Thanksgiving and Christmas. But I would give advice that, hey, I think either put your house on the market right after the first of the year. I think you're going to see prices begin to level out, come down maybe somewhat as supplies and materials come down, because I think the spring market's going to be an excellent time, both sell and buy a new home. But I wouldn't wait too much longer. Rates are going to go up, as you know, and we don't expect them to go up, a tremendous amount over the next 12 to 18 months. But our market's going to be strong for some time, and the fundamentals of this market are very good, and I don't see that changing over the next couple of years.
Noticed in your bio, David, that you built strip malls and warehouses and office buildings. Give us a little feel for that market as you see it going forward.
Well, we're not doing as much of the commercial side as we once did. We have done that in the past. We're primarily now doing custom homes, but I do try to keep up with that. As you know, the office market, as people were working from home more and more, people are beginning to go back now to the office, and you're beginning to see office space fill back a little bit. However, many companies I see, and I have the opportunity to sit on the Alpharetta Development Authority, and we see new companies relocating back here. They're not taking as much space as they initially thought, but they go back to the office and giving them more flexibility to work both from home and the office. So the office needs, I think, are going to beginning to fill back up. Where you see tremendous growth is in the rental market, apartments, or you see homes are built for rent. That's probably the fastest growing real estate segment, are homes for rent. And there's entire neighborhoods that are being built a little further out from the core of Atlanta, where neighborhoods are fully for rent, and they have, they're taken care of with HOAs and really are a hot commodity. Apartments are doing very well, especially mid-rise type apartments that are well located. And then, of course, retail, from what we see, is a little soft right now, although they're also doing pretty well. But again, it's mostly, through internet type sales. And then warehouse and distribution is booming, as you know. You see it all over this market, especially up 85 and 75, near the transportation corridors, near the railroads. Those areas are in short supply and big demand. And you're beginning to see rents go up in that area as well.
Well, David, we keep hearing about this quote unquote housing shortage, that we can't build houses fast enough for a variety of reasons, including the fact that so many people are moving here from all around the country, particularly the Northwest. What is your forecast for that phenomena?
Yeah, well, I talked a little bit about it. I think I've touched on it previously, but I'll remind you too that Georgia, we just got named for the 8th straight year as one of the best place to do business in the United States. This state is very business friendly. And most of the city and areas that we live in are very business friendly and are encouraging growth and business activity. Companies want to move here. Headquarters, regional headquarters are looking at Atlanta. We're on everybody's short list. So I think the growth opportunity in the market that we're all in has a great upside. I think because we talked about, because of supply chain, because of land costs going up, shortage of lots, it's taking longer to get lots developed because of just the, in the whole municipal permitting situation. All of that is really creating a slowdown in getting volume of houses out there. And there is a huge demand. And we talked about that earlier. But again, I'll go back to what I said, the fundamentals, which is your supply and demand, your interest rates, borrowers' credit right now, most everybody's credit situation is much stronger than it's been in fact, maybe ever. There's a lot of people who have had to stay home during the pandemic. They've accumulated cash. They can make down payments. I was even talking to somebody today. You mentioned our company, Executive Asset Management. We manage foreclosures in that company for banks. Well, we have no inventory because these things are selling even before they get to the courthouse steps. And even people who may be having trouble with their mortgage payments now have a lot of options. It's not just a foreclosure. There are companies that will buy your house or short sell your house in many other ways. So the economy is solid and job growth is solid in our market. And we have great leadership in this state and in our cities here. And I feel very, very bullish about the future of this market that we're in.
One of the elements of real estate has always been cycles. 7 years, every 7 or 8, 9 years, we would see like a turn. Is that an old way of thinking, or is that not practical to think in terms of cyclical changes in the future?
There will be, I definitely believe in the cyclicality of real estate, and we're in a great period now. We'll be in a tougher period in the future. I don't know that I buy in anymore to the 7-year cycle or 6-year cycle, because all these recessions have been a little different most recently. I do think you have a more sophisticated builder today, more educated builder generally, because they've been through this. A lot of public companies now, as you know, are builders, public company builders are in this market. Atlanta years ago was more of a small volume builder. And I think we tended to have a little more of a herd mentality that, as the market would get good, we'd all run to that. And in those areas and locations, we'd overbuild the market, and then suddenly we have a collapse. I think the sophistication of the public companies, large regional builders, and even the more small local guys are better educated on how inventory levels. We have more information about what's going on in the market. So I don't see us overbuilding this as quickly. Now, granted, because it's taking so much longer to build a home and to deliver a home to a purchaser, those can sneak up on you if you're not careful. But I don't see a big recession out there, but I do see cycles continuing. It's just the ebb and flow of business. And as much as we can minimize, which I think we're doing a better job of in this, with the people who are working in this market today.
Well, as I mentioned, prices for detached homes are up 23%, and I think for attached it's like 21%. And real estate is taking a bigger and bigger share out of our disposable income. What do you see the future of that from your perspective? Do you see that continuing, or do you think that percentage will diminish in time, or do you address issues like that on a regular basis?
I don't spend a lot of time looking at that. I do know that you know this too, if you go anywhere, go to a restaurant or go to a retail store, everyone is looking for help and for labor, and they're paying much higher prices. You've seen, people getting raises in some of the bigger companies. Friends I have that work for larger companies are all putting, companies are trying to keep their people, trying to keep good people, try to hire good people. So we're seeing incomes increase because we're in an inflationary period. We're seeing prices and costs go up every day a lot, because of supply and demand for, just getting the supply chain here and getting things done. It's not just in the real estate; it's in every industry that you see. So I think I think right now you're right. It's a little out of whack as far as income versus home buying, but I do think that will level out in time. I think you're going to see home prices settle down, costs settle down, and I think you're going to see. I think salaries and wages are here to stay. I think those increases it's tough to go back and cut people's pay anymore, but you can see materials and costs come down. I think in some of our building materials.
Well, since I am an agent at one of your companies or franchises, I've observed a lot of things. And one thing that I have observed is that there is a great deal of emphasis on honesty and character, morals and values. And how great of a priority do you attach to that as a role model for 1,100 agents who are out there making a living trying to help people with their real estate needs?
Yeah, that is by far the single most, in fact, the most fundamental truth in my life. My father and mother, who are strong believers, and I am as well, really taught me that in Proverbs, it talks about that a good name is rather to be chosen than great wealth or great riches. To love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, to love your neighbor as yourself. And we really have built our company on the fact that we should serve our Lord and serve others. And we do our best to do that and encourage and help people along the way in whatever, they're doing. And I think service in the community to help your, friends and family and to serve the Lord in whatever way you choose is fundamental in building our business. And we will continue to have that great truth. I think to be respectful for those that work with you, to encourage those that work around you, and appreciate people, encourage people. That's, again, a very fundamental principle in our company.
So one of the bylines of Keller Williams and Gary Keller, I think maybe started this, is along those same lines, is what is your big why? Why we started the show out with that, but how do you instill that, and how do you guide agents, young agents especially, in developing that principle in their life and incorporating that into their whole purpose?
Yes, it's one thing to have great platitudes, maybe on a plaque or on the wall, and that's where you start. But I think people like Gary Keller and Mo Anderson and some of the early founders of Keller Williams, and we were one of the early franchisees, at least in the Atlanta market, to watch them model the big why that we're talking about. Really, service, it boils down to serving your fellow man, serving the Lord, and taking care of your family, and encouraging others. I'll just kind of capsulize it. There are many more things in details, but to see people model that and then to see the success that comes with that, I think is the best way to encourage others to follow those principles and those truths. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. We have days that we've said something or did something we regret. But when we know that, we need to go back and try to fix it as best we can, to apologize, to never be too big to say I made a mistake, I failed you here, or I did this, or I gave you wrong advice. And I think the humility that comes with trying to serve others, you don't have to talk about it. It will show through what you do, how you model that lifestyle. And I think you'll be blessed in doing that. And we certainly have. And I'm very thankful, and as I said earlier, things we have are really a blessing from the Lord, and we acknowledge that. And to be around great people, and great agents, in our case with Keller Williams, and try to serve those, will serve you well.
One thing too that I noticed as an agent, there is the phenomenal emphasis on training. Is that something that's been a key element in your success, training of agents and managers?
Absolutely. I don't care what profession you're in or what, even even retired friends of mine, I say, look, don't let your mind, don't think doing it the old way still works. You got to continually be trained and look at new trends and opportunities and stay on top of your game, whatever that game is. In our case, the real estate business. Never assume that what you did yesterday is going to continue to work on and on. Things are changing rapidly. Technology, especially in our business, is moving so quickly. So we encourage all of our agents to take as much of the education that we offer as they possibly can to really stay on top of the latest trends and activities and technology. And Keller Williams is a very strong technology-based company and believe in it very strongly. And training is core to what we do.
David, I'll give you a really hard question now, and that is, if you were to pick a few books that you think have been most helpful to you in your success, just a few books. I know Aubrey Bailey, who you mentioned, whenever you would walk by his office, he has a whole stack of books out there that he's read and recommends. But if you were to distill it down to just a few, what would you recommend, and what do you think have been most helpful?
Well, I'm a little embarrassed to say I'm not a big reader. I read a lot, candidly, but it's primarily I read 3 newspapers every morning before I leave my house, which are really the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I'm kind of a newspaper junkie and a news junkie, and that's not always the best thing because sometimes that can actually be depressing. But I do like to keep up with what's going on in our local market. I think like most people who are very strong believers, the Bible is, I try to read that every day and try to find principles there every day that encourage and help me through the day. I don't know of a lot of business books. I've obviously read Good to Great. I've read other books that have been bestsellers in recent years, but I don't read enough really of the books that are out there. Gary Keller's written The $1 Million Agent. There's a book out called The Millionaire Next Door. All those, you see the basic fundamental things that are themes that run through people's lives that have been successful. And to hang around successful people and to spend time with them and to learn from them, is where I spend a lot of my time. So I don't do enough reading, but those are some of the things that I've read and try to keep up with.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show, David. It's a pleasure to have you. I hope we can have you back periodically and instill some of your great wisdom. And we appreciate all the contributions that you and your fine company have made to the well-being of our community. And thank you very much for listening, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Lou. I've enjoyed it.